Welcome to the ChangeMakers Podcast, produced by cityCURRENT and brought to you by Lipscomb and Pitts Insurance. This show shares personal stories and insight from those who are giving back and making a difference so we can learn and do the same. We cover life lessons, business advice, passion, and purpose. Now here's our host, the CEO of cityCURRENT, Jeremy Park.
Welcome to the ChangeMakers Podcast, produced by cityCURRENT. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. You're in for an international treat, an international amazing story of someone who's gone through a lot of adversity, but is using his adversity as a light to help others through the darkness. So we're honored to be joined all the way from India with Dr. Ajay Doni. So Dr. Ajay, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, sir. Thank you.
We appreciate it. We know it's early in the morning there, late in the evening here. And so this is one of those kind of rare funds using technology to be able to tell these stories. And like I said, a really cool story, especially for here in the States, for us to get to know you and your story, someone who's many, many miles away. But give us a little bit of just where you are in the world right now so we have some perspective. And then we'll talk about your childhood and this accident that happened. So tell us where you are right now in the world.
I'm in Bangalore, that is in India, a state called Karnataka. So basically, I'm doing all my studies here in Bangalore. That is in the country India. Yes.
And so talk about you growing up. So where did you grow up? Talk about family size, how big of a family. Dive into a little bit of just your childhood for us.
Sure. We are a family of 4. I have my beautiful parents and a brother, elder brother. So my hometown is 100 kilometers away from the current city where I'm studying right now. So I grew up there only. I did all my education, my primary education, secondary education, everything from there. Ever since childhood, I always wanted to become a dentist, especially a prosthodontist, because now prosthodontics is one profession, meaning we deliver dentures for the elder patients. We replace what is missing. You know, when you deliver, when you place a denture in patient's mouth, when they smile back at you with their new teeth, and also when they get back to their house and they eat something which they always want to eat but they didn't have teeth to eat, but they will call you back and they will call you and they will thank you for your service. That is one of the most satisfying jobs. One of the most satisfying jobs ever, I would say. So I was always interested in that. Likewise, I wrote my NEET entrance exam. Here in India, we have to write one entrance exam to get into master's course. Once we finish our bachelor's, we have to write one entrance exam called as NEET. So yes, my all India rank was around 750, maybe some 25 to 27,000 people will write that exam every year. So I had got a state rank, my state rank currently where I'm staying here, I had got a state rank of 64.
Wow.
So yeah, I had all chances to get a good seat in a dream branch which I always wanted to pursue.
Did you have someone growing up that like showed you like the industry or a mentor, or like, in other words, how did you get into just that is that's what I want to do? It's cool. Like you said, when you explain the ability to see someone smile, like that becomes contagious. But I'm just curious, how in the world did you think of like that as a career?
I would say when I was in high school, first of all, I myself have a crowding of my teeth, but I was always scared of a dentist. I was always scared of dentists. I never went to a dentist. So I always, back in my mind, I had the fear that dentist will have little, instruments to pluck in your mouth and, he will hurt you. I always had one kind of a fear towards dentists, and I wanted to change that perception, what is there now in the people's mind. So that kept me going. And definitely when I was graduating, there was one of my professors in the same field. By looking at his work, his name is Dr. Adarsh. So he is the first man to guide me how to get into it. Basically, from whom I learned a lot of things regarding my profession. Now I'm doing my master's.
Very, very cool. So share maybe one just fun family tradition, especially for us here in the States. It's kind of fun to live vicariously through you. So give us one just family tradition that stands out for you.
Family tradition. Here, whatever we do, wherever we are, the connection will be such where we have to meet our family members at least once in a while, even though our profession doesn't allow us to stay together, because we have to come to cities to pursue any higher education because of education system here in India. Not everywhere we get the same education as you expect. So still the connection which you will have to go back to your family, I can say a lot of traditions like that, but the attachment with our family, that will keep us going.
So let's go ahead and fast forward. So you're getting into medical school, and talk about the accident that ultimately has changed your life.
I got into my master's course in the month of May 2017, but then I didn't have an idea at all that my life will go for a whim. Exactly after 4 months after joining my MDS, that is in the month of October. To be precise, it was 29th October at around 2:45. As I said, I went home to meet my parents. I had a nice lunch, which was made by my mom, and then I started my bike ride. As I said, it's my hometown is 100 kilometers only away from my the current place, that is Bangalore, where I'm staying right now. So I was coming from home to my hostel. Currently, I stay in hostel where I'm doing my education, my master's. So when I was coming from home to hostel, I met with an accident. A bus came from behind and hit me. Can you believe it? I was at the leftmost side of the road. I don't know what to call it as. And when I met with an accident, there were challenges for me at every step of life. Maybe how I can put it is, every stage I will tell you the challenges I faced. Immediately when I met with an accident, my bike and I got stuck to the rear wheel of the bus, and because bus had to apply sudden brakes. It applied sudden brakes, but still it took 3 to 4 seconds for bus to stop at that speed. It was around 60.
So you're on your bike, riding, going to school. The bus is going 60 miles an hour and basically nails you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. Just at the leftmost side of the road, it happened. And then I got stuck to the bus, and it was all smoke. And then few people came out from the bus and they took me out. And that's when I actually looked at the magnitude of the wound that has happened. Me, myself, a doctor, I knew certain things, how to deal with it. Two very, very important things we have to notice. We should make sure we don't lose our consciousness. That is the first part whenever we meet with such an accident. Of course, few accidents doesn't allow us, but any panic-initiated consciousness. I should not get panicked and I lose my consciousness. Then you will not have any help. So the first people whom I contacted is my dad, of course, my hero. I contacted him and then I told him what has happened. And then
so are you using your cell phone at this point, trying to so in other words, you're basically on the ground laying there bleeding, and you're calling your dad. To me, that in and of itself, like the strength to be able to wait a second, I've got to call my dad and get some help, and to your point, stay conscious. That's most people, that would be so surreal, and I'd probably pass out. But I mean, that's wow.
Yes. And as I said, it was afternoon, so the roads will be really hot. So the amount of abrasion I got, I didn't get any fractures, but I lost all the arteries and veins just below my knee. I have angiogram photos, and also back in my mind, I had that I have to sue this driver for the mistake what he did. So I asked few people there to click up photos of the bus, the extent of the injury, all that. And one such person took a photo of mine talking to my dad. To my surprise, I got that photo in WhatsApp after 2 to 3 months as a forward message. I received my own photo in a WhatsApp forward. I can share that photo with you later once we end this conversation. So this is the first challenge, and we will have something called as golden hour. Whenever we meet with an accident, we will have something called as golden hour. That is 1 to 1.5 hours. Before that, if you reach the hospital, there are high chances for doctors. They can cure everything or they can fit. Basically, there will be high chances of success. Unfortunately, the accident happened in the village. So that was approximately half an hour away from the city. But by the time ambulance came and by the time I reached the hospital, 4 hours was elapsed. So as my golden hours was elapsed, doctors also they took all the angio, everything, my arteries, veins. I had a severe muscular loss. The cuff muscle, everything was gone basically. Eventually, they couldn't save my leg, so they had to amputate my right leg, a bone. And currently, I'm using my prosthetic.
There you go. Yeah, showing it off.
Yeah.
So did they come in and explain it like, hey, here's what's going to happen, and you understanding like, okay, I get this and I can process this, or did they even give you that option and they just did it and there wasn't even a question?
Staying in conscious was a blessing for me. Actually, me myself, I'm in a healthcare system. I had my friends in the hospital where I got treated. So before the moment I go there, actually in an ambulance only, I'm sitting and calling all my friends. Hey guys,
hey, I'm going to be there in a second. Get ready.
I'll be there in a second. You be ready. Seriously, I'm not overhyping it. Actually, all this happened. I don't know. I stayed really strong because I knew I just didn't want to look at my wound because I knew the severity it was damn severe. But then if I can't help myself at that situation, nobody can help. The situation was like that. So I had to go on it. I had to give it my chance. Like that, and that was my first experience. Like, who will have such an experience? Maybe we will have here or there some injuries in our lives. That's all. But then I called all my friends there, the postgraduates who were in a hospital. From my dental hospital to the hospital where I got amputated, it is almost 7 to 8 kilometers. So I had my friends there also. By the time I reached the hospital, my friends were already ready with the stretcher, all that. They took me inside. A team of orthopedicians, orthopedic surgeons, plastic surgeons, everyone came. I myself, I'm in healthcare, so they gave little more interest, thankfully, on me. And all the x-rays, everything was being discussed in front of me only. By looking at my mindset, they thought everything is fair enough to discuss in front of me. And I was like, I don't want to take any chances with the secondary infection because I met with an accident in some village. So all the mud, all that was there. So I didn't want it to take any chance. I didn't want to beg them that save my leg. Let's take chance of next 1 day, 2 days. And, it will only it will only make the things go bad. It doesn't improve. So I gave them my nod that if it's required, go for an amputation. That's all I told them. By the time we were taking the decisions, even my parents, as I said, it was 1 hour from my hometown. So they have to book a car. And then by the time even they reached, it was 4 hours, 4 to 5 hours. So approximately everything happened by 9 p.m. In the night. And they took me to the ICU, like operation theater. And my surgery went on for almost 4 hours.
Wow.
And then next 3 days, but they didn't close my wound. Now they can't suture it because it was all the mud, all that was there on the wound, right? So they didn't want to take any chances by closing the wound. So what they do is they will plan for a second surgery. They don't take chances with the infection. So they planned for a second surgery after 3 days. One doctor came in, he checked my wound. Luckily, I was not infected. One more key I would like to notice is at the accident spot, whenever we meet with accidents, people offer you water. But that is one thing we should always remember. We should not drink water. In fact, that doesn't allow us to allow doctors to perform any surgeries on us. It does maybe little bit of water if you're panic, it's fine. But if you drink more of a fluids of that kind, like any water, it will affect your blood cells. It will impair their function of carrying oxygen throughout your body. So it is not advisable to drink water in those times.
That's really helpful to know.
I kind of knew that. Yes. So that is one thing. Thank God. Luckily, I could think about these things at that crucial time. And then when I went there, they didn't have any reason to postpone the operation. But still, considering the severity of the accident, they couldn't save my leg. So I don't have much regrets there. But maybe one regret what I will have the rest of my life is, had the ambulance arrived quickly to me, I could have saved it.
Yeah.
So that didn't happen. Maybe if I had reached within a golden hour.
Which, brings me to an interesting thing is, your outlook on it. One, I think the fact that you're coming from a medical vantage point and you can control yourself more than most people helps tremendously. But if I'm 25 years old, you have everything in front of you. You literally are riding back to class, so to speak, to school, and you get hit by a bus. And all of a sudden now, like, you're losing your leg, you're forced to go through this situation. To your point, you're thinking, well, man, if they would have gotten here sooner, I could have been in an hour and I maybe have saved my leg. How much anger were you carrying with you at that time, and regret and hostility? Like, what was that kind of process like of just, man, so many things, if they would have changed a little bit, I probably could have had a different outcome. But obviously, you can't change the past, right? So how did you process all that?
As I said, once the amputation is done, my friends came to the hospital. My parents were there. They tried a lot to keep me occupied. But still, there are nights. You have to be alone on the operation, on the ward, on the bed. Pain, severely pain. You can't sleep. Those are the times where I started thinking, like, what next? How do I walk from tomorrow? What about my patients? Like, can I treat them from tomorrow? Can I practice dentistry, which was always my passion? These were the questions which were there back in my mind. But still, for the mindset what I have, maybe thankfully, it didn't take me much time. Any kind of these kind of traumas, I believe we should get over it mentally. Once we get over these kind of traumas mentally, we will be able to work on few physical things. Of course, they will be painful, but it's a matter of time. But once you don't get over it mentally, in this scenario about my limb loss, believe me, it took me almost just 1 to 2 days to get over my limb loss. I just accepted it. Now I can't do anything about it. Now if I go and sue that bus driver also, I can't achieve anything. Now maybe I will have that one satisfaction that I punished them, but that doesn't do any good to me. So all I could think of at that point of time is get back to what you are doing as soon as possible. There is one dental hospital waiting for me there. Your patients are waiting for you. I just wanted to get back to there as soon as possible. To my surprise, even though I was a doctor, I had never seen anybody wearing artificial limbs. Can you believe it? I'm being honest. I didn't have any clue that there is, we can go and buy some artificial limbs. How will I walk? That was my first question. And then one of my cousins, he told, hey dude, there is something called as Autowalk. That is the first ever prosthetic company I heard. Don't worry, you have a bright future, man. Like, there are many legs. Where that is when I started seeing YouTube. Internet is such a blessing if you use it properly. Actually, it allows us to meet
because that
people
gives
like
you hope. Because it's like, wait a second, I see others and they're mobile and they're living life normal. And to your point, if you haven't seen it before, you don't know it exists, and all of a sudden, to your point, like you can go online and you can see, wait a second, there is hope. I can live a normal life, and here's an opportunity to do so.
Yes, when I saw that video, that's exactly what you said. That's what even I felt. But as I earlier mentioned, all the bloggers what I saw, they were usually Americans, or they're Europeans, but definitely not Indians. So of course, the system works differently in all the countries. So I can't just see one American video and I can't get into the feeling that I am going to do the same. The healthcare thing, everything is different, and I have my own challenges here, and I have never seen any Indian videos there. Basically, that's when, along with I got the zeal. Maybe why not? I can help my country people, my countrymen who go through these kind of traumas. Now they should, whenever they look up to one person who belongs to their country, that connection is different. You understand,
and I think
right?
that's the part I want listeners to kind of take to heart, is the fact that I kind of see this as the switch flip for you when you said, wait a second, I can be that person. There's not anyone like me that anyone gets to see. And now I can be that role model for someone else. And so now that place of kind of darkness and despair and, why me, the pity side of it, then flips over to, wait a second, I can be a light. I can use this darkness to help others. I can be the person that people look up to when they go through something like this. Now I can help them. I think that's a really cool shift of being able to use something that is a darkness for a light for others. And I think that's a really cool kind of pivotal moment in the story, which is really cool.
That kind of approach towards life actually will give us more opportunities, I feel, rather than if I choose to sit at home, being afraid of the society, how will people look at me? Anyways, I will talk about it a little later. But as I was telling regarding the prosthetic limbs, so it's still a challenge because you have to get your sutures removed. All this is still happening in hospital. So the first 2-3 weeks, all I could think of is eat healthy. Can you believe it? My weight was 49. When I had leg, the day when I met with an accident, I'm a kind of a fit guy who always take care of my health, all that. So I was 64. Once I lost my leg, and in hospital when I tried to check my weight, it was 49. I couldn't believe it. Like half leg is gone and I'm already 49. So the challenge was to regain the weight, because there are certain prosthetic limbs, they will require this kind of weight from an individual for those limbs to support them. So you can't. I was literally looking like on malnourished. That 49 weight, I couldn't think of it. So I just ate very, very healthy food. First 2-3 weeks, my mom used to cut all kind of fruits she served me during that time. My parents didn't lose hope. They just kept me safe. They just saw me being confident. First 2 days, my mom used to cry. The third day, she was like, "What is this guy? Like, he's already enjoying his life." Like that, even she got back to normal. So that kind of support from my parents I got, that is one of the most important things which any parent should do whenever their kids or any kind of support should be there, I believe. So after that, once my sutures are off, I went for a checkup where I visited a prosthetic center, and then I decided to go on with I got to know. One more thing, when I saw these bloggers, usually they record videos with microprocessor limbs. microprocessors. Basically, we have hydraulic limbs, mechanical limbs, microprocessor, bionics. We have a wide range of processes from 2 lakhs to 2 crores in our currency. Of course, I couldn't afford for a bigger range, but definitely I went for mechanical processes, which was fine enough for me to get back to my work. One good thing which kept me going was, for a dentist, eye and hand coordination is very important. That was retained. I was very much happy about it. For a dentist, whenever I'm working on you, of course, I have to see what I'm working, and my hand should be working perfectly. Nothing to do with my legs. But still, we will use foot control, as also you will be knowing, sir. For to operate all our drills, rotors, we need a foot control. So my left leg is intact. We use left leg for the foot control. So nowhere my right leg loss became an obstacle for me to continue my dentistry. That kept me going. It's not like, okay, now my profession also is not gone. Then one thing, people find their motivation in different ways. Maybe once they lose their limb, they want to go and climb Mount Everest, Himalayas. I wanted to find my motivation or inspiration, whatever. I was just motivated enough to get back to what I was doing.
Yeah.
Limb loss.
Well, because you were already focused on helping others, and to be able to then use that as your engine to power you, you wanted to be able to help others and to be able to return to that then fuels you. And I do like the fact, like you said, is, you could rely on your eyes and your hands and your leg to be able to still do it. So it didn't necessarily take you off track of the career path you wanted to go down. Although do talk about, because I think it's interesting, as you and I were talking before, is that you have to regain your balance. So in other words, like it's a different process to kind of learn how to use a prosthetic leg.
It was a process of 84 days. I have all the 84 days videos, like my progress. That is one of the most important things I would like to tell all the amputees: record. Whenever you hit the trail, whenever you're walking, you just ask somebody to record it, so that you go home and read some articles, get some information on it. And then it's not, we should not always expect things from prosthetists. They will do their job, but we have to do our job. We should have a fair amount of idea as in what we are going through, how we have to don it, how we have to utilize that time, all that. My prosthetic center allowed me to work for almost 10 hours. Like, I didn't have time. This master's course, whatever I'm doing, master's in dentistry, it is a course of 36 months, duration of 36 months. I can't really sit here and waste time losing my master's course. That is my learning phase. So my biggest challenge was to get back to my work as soon as possible, because I'm still a student there.
Yeah, you don't want to be behind. Which actually is yes. It's a blessing and a curse. It's one of those where it's like, it keeps your mind focused on the goal. Like, I've got to get back to normal. At the same time, it's like, I got to rush.
Yes. That really kept me going. So I just asked them, can I come and work from 10 o'clock to 7 o'clock? Like 10 a.m. I used to go. I will just have some breakfast. I'll exercise. And then I will go to prosthetic center from 10 till 7 for 84 days. I did nothing but walk. I will just go walk. That kept going. I did all kind of exercises. Again, as I said, I saw some YouTube videos, how to do all the exercises, wearing prostheses, all that I learned nicely. By the end of 84th day, I was good. I was confident enough to get back to the social life where I can go and practice my patients. Till then, I practiced in prosthetic center.
Was anyone helping you though? Like, was anyone kind of helping you in terms of kind of what to expect? Because like you said, I think that's really good advice. Film every day, go on and do your research, really put yourself into it. But was anybody helping you in that process, or was this kind of something that you were just learning on your own along the way? That's
what I was doing, actually. As I said, I'm a postgraduate, so I know how to search for articles in the internet. That's our day-to-day job. So I knew it. In fact, my prosthetist, who is Mr. Pradeep Kumar, I would love to mention him. He's been such a wonderful friend for me than a prosthetist. I usually call him Daddy too, because he was the one again who made me walk. So I call him. I'll call him Daddy too. I
love that.
You are my daddy too. Like that, I'll be telling him. And then he had enough patience to listen to all of mine. Sometimes he used to ask me, hey, dude, just forward me this article. His profession, I used to send him some articles. Such was the interest. And by looking at my interest, he started working on me more. That's what my point is. Whenever you are interested, the other person will get some kind of interest in working on you by looking at your zeal to, get back to your life. That's what happened now with him. And as I said, it was never a smooth ride. There were days where I go But some problem will be there. I can mention many problems actually. Some days processes won't be fitting. Some days whenever we will have some limb fluctuations, like fluid fluctuations will be there. So your stump means the residual limb, whatever is remaining, that part is called as a stump. So that residual limb, you can't put it in the socket, maybe because of the size volume. So you have to head back home. That day you can't walk. So there were such moments, and staying stronger during those times. I most of the times I used to feel like I used to go in a cab having crutches, and then all these are first experiences for me. I don't know how but I really didn't feel like even bothering about that. My job is to just go to prosthetic center. If at all the process is like the artificial leg is available, wear it, walk, learn, come back. That was the only thing I did. And as I said, regarding my processes, like various options they used to explain, various exercises now they used to ask me to do, and even I used to do few exercises. So currently by the end of 84th day, I got my gait patterns right. Like I could again walk back. Like I don't say 100% normal. 100% normal might not be achieved, but again, you should have a little bit of understanding. You should be practical in your expectations. Maybe whenever I just wanted to get back to 85 or 90% of whatever I do, I'll be done with it.
Well,
So
a whole
these
new
were the
appreciation even for just walking. And I do want to touch on once again for listeners, the fact that, like you said, even with your second father, I think that's a great description, but the fact that your enthusiasm, because even you and I met on Instagram and just reaching out, and it was your enthusiasm, you're sharing your story, the power of what you're doing. And it's like, oh man, that's someone I definitely want to get to know and interview for this, because I think to your point, when you radiate love and energy and positivity, and you're doing it because you want to genuinely just help, when your motives are good, that will attract good. And that's where a lot of just good things happen. And I think that's a big part for listeners too. And just in terms of getting your story out there, being genuine, being authentic, but just being passionate about it really does go far. Talk about what you're doing now, because when you talk about being the light for others and sharing your experience, which this is exactly what you're doing, is you're sharing your experience to help others. What are some of your goals now? Because obviously you're still going through school, but what are some of your goals in terms of helping other amputees and what you're looking to kind of create as a community to help?
I will answer that. But before that, I just wanted to touch on this thing. All the 84 days, what I mentioned, definitely there is a team around you who is working, who belongs to that profession. So they know how to take care of you. Once any amputee goes out of the prosthetic center, once they get back to their life, things go totally difficult. Parents might not understand how the limb works, or your friends might not understand your mental status. Everything you will be thinking about the society, why they're looking, why continuously people will be staring at you. Yeah. And it took me almost 1 week when I went back to the society, social life. It took me 1 week to understand that people are just curious, just to look at your legs like that, because they wouldn't have seen that. That's all. You need not to feel, they're looking at me and I'm feeling bad, I'm feeling offensive. No, absolutely it is not required. That is one more point I wanted to point
Yeah, that's
on.
A great point.
So we need not to really bother about why people are sharing. It's just that they're curious. So that kind of approach again made me just go on. Actually, in like whatever master's course I'm doing, there are 14 girls and I'm the only boy in the department. I'm the only man, and there are 14 women. So I had that zeal to perform even more on a funnier side. Like there were times, if at all, if I need some support also, whenever I needed some help, they were there with me.
Yeah.
That part I wanted to tell actually.
That's awesome.
That kind of support is very important. Yeah. And after that, once I accepted that, once my gait pattern was fine, once I accepted how society looks at me, everything was back to me. I in fact went to Malaysia now in the month of October last year for a World Dental Conference, where I presented a paper and secured a third prize there for my paper. As you asked, I'm actually interested in aesthetic dentistry, like work on your smile design, all that. And maybe my one more interest is, placing implants to replace the missing tooth in the aesthetic zone, anterior zone or aesthetic zone. These are my interests. So immediately after my master's get over, definitely I'm looking forward to go for any fellowship courses to learn about it better, because master's is all about what do you say, jack of all, master of none. Masters give you that kind of a thing, but again you have to select any one specialty where you go on with that. Like that.
Talk
That's
about
my
on your,
goal.
because you've done fashion shows now, you've become kind of a speaker on your end. So share a little bit of just that new path that's opened up some fun avenues for you to have a platform.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I would love to share that. Like how I want to put it is what self-confidence or what willpower does to you. There were auditions for this fashion show. Can you believe it? I didn't even take part in those auditions. Like that organization, Asman Foundation, Ms. Dhanya Ravi, she just called up one day and Ajay, we just want you to in our team. I didn't go for any auditions. There were like 200 to 220 people who went for auditions. I just got a call, so and so date. You just have to come and walk for there. Like 1 week, they just gave me some kind of a training, how to walk, all that. Anyways, I was already good at it. So I got really good friends and the cause, I really liked the cause actually. It was on February 29th. So it is celebrated as World Rare Disease Day. Now, so we represented kind of 35 different disabilities, Down syndrome, you name it, we had it. Now, hand amputee, leg amputee, Down syndrome, and many such people. Every individual person representing their difficulty. So
That's
I
awesome.
absolutely loved that theme. I didn't think a second. I didn't take a second also to nod them. Yes. I just went for it, and it was an amazing experience. We got to meet few fashion designers. They gave us good clothes, and that was all fun actually. That is it with the now fashion show. And one more thing, what I would like to mention is once I got back to the college, life went on normally for 6 months, and then I went on to attend one mobility clinic from Össur. Össur is one of the prosthetic giants we can call in the world. So they conducted an Össur mobility clinic where they saw me, and 6 months before, whenever I used to see these bloggers wearing those microprocessors, I just could dream of getting those processors. And today, in this mobility clinic, they offered me one microprocessor and asked me to be their brand ambassador. And that I consider is the biggest achievement from my, if not, without parents, that is the biggest achievement what I have done actually.
Yeah.
I consider it like that. Yeah, I got a microprocessor leg at a price where I can afford at ambassador price. So it was a very cool one. And now with this microprocessor, I'm just having a bomb.
So what do you want listeners to take away from your story?
I feel, as I mentioned, in the period of 84 days of my rehabilitation, every day I felt like giving up. Every day I felt like giving up. But back in my mind, I knew giving up is one of the most painful ways of solving a problem. Maybe it gives us a temporary satisfaction. We don't have anything to do today, but it is going to affect our future. Back in my mind, I had that, and that kept me going. Yeah, I would like to say one thing to the people who are going through this: don't just give up. Okay, this is one thing which we have to enjoy. That this is one life, we have to just enjoy this. So we should just not give up, and unwavering self-confidence should be there first. Okay, we might get help from anybody. If at all, if you don't believe in yourself, help from any kind of any kind of a source doesn't stay for a long time. But once you are determined, once we have the willpower to achieve what we want to achieve, definitely that is going to help.
Yeah, and I think that's something that everyone is going to go through adversity, and whether it's an accident, a divorce, a breakup, a job loss, it's going to hit you, and it's going to, in some cases, be really hard. And to your point, the ability to say, you know what, it is going to get hard sometimes, but you know what, I'm going to power through this, and I'm going to wake up again tomorrow. And every day, every little step, it gets better. It gets a little easier. And then all of a sudden you look back and you realize, wait a second, I'm a whole different person now, and I'm in a different place, and I get to use this, and everything happens for a reason. And a lot of times those negative reasons, you hate it, but when you look back, it's like, in a weird way, that was a blessing. It's opened up all these new opportunities that I would have never been afforded before. And so I just, once again, I appreciate your positive attitude, the way you're looking at this, and the way that you're building your platform to help others.
Thank you, sir.
Let's go ahead and switch over. It's kind of a lightning round on our end, where it's short questions, short answers. It's just a fun way to get to know you better. But give us something you like to do to relax. I know it's hard with studies and everything else, but what do you like to do to relax?
Maybe go for a movie or hit a pub, have a beer, hang out with friends. Whenever I get an opportunity, I just try to spend time with my friends. And, that gives us a kind of a hope again to start a day tomorrow, to have a rough day. during your job. Yeah, those things we have to balance.
So I'm sure you're reading a lot, but give us something that you're reading right now.
Reading something right now. Actually, during lockdown, more than reading, what I'm doing, I'm working on the fitness. I'm working on my blog, such thing. I'm not into reading as of now in the last 3-4 weeks, because this is one time I always wanted, because it happened, my accident happened in the master's course. I really didn't have time, even though I want to do. It is like 9 o'clock in the morning. If I go to my clinic, I will come back at 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock. I really didn't have time. And actually wearing the prosthesis or the artificial limb for 14 to 15 hours a day or 12 to 13 hours a day is one kind of a challenge. Luckily I've got adapted to it from day one. From morning till night, I'm using my prosthesis. So that is why currently I'm using my lockdown to reach out to as many amputees as possible. Anyways, cool. I've done enough reading there. So I just want to use this lockdown to reach out as many amputees as possible where I can be of help for them some or the other way.
Yeah. So give us some favorite dishes or food. What do you like to eat?
Yesterday only, actually. And this is one fun part again. Everybody has become a master chef during this lockdown. Everybody is into cooking whenever they get a free time. And we have this one traditional sweet in Karnataka called as Mysore Pak. It is called as Mysore Pak. Yesterday I tried. That is one sweet where we can go to a bakery and we can buy it. Not many people take that risk of cooking that at home, but I took that risk and luckily it came out well.
Nice.
So as of now, yes, I've done that.
So what sort of TV shows or movies? Give us a favorite movie or a TV show.
Currently, I'm watching Money Heist in Netflix. And also Parasite movie I watched. That is one of the amazing movies I watched actually in the recent times. These are the two movies. Actually, I have a list of it, but as of now, I can think of those two. And yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying Money Heist actually.
All right. So then when you look at the legacy that you're creating each and every day, what do you hope that your legacy is? Obviously, many, 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 many years from now, what do you hope your legacy is?
Whenever I'm not here on the earth, I want people to talk about my values, the value I have added to my work, be it in the dentistry or be it in now God has given me one more profession. I am considering that as the amputee, the support groups, whatever I want to make. Just whenever I'm not here, people should still talk about my name in a good way, of course. So that is my thing.
And so you mentioned obviously the blog and you're reaching out and trying to help as many people as possible. How can we be in touch with you? How can we help you?
Any kind of help will be definitely appreciated. But as of now, I am thinking of creating a support group for amputees, something like Amputee Coalition. But I have ideas. I have seen one of your posts, like think big, act small. That is one of the amazing. I was just going through your campaigns, and as of now, I'm in that. So I just want to act small ways. I'm acting with a Facebook page now. As I already sent you, I have spent enough on my education. So right now, don't have funding to go ahead in that line. Maybe once, and that doesn't stop me really. Once I finish my master's, I will start my clinic. Whatever I earn from being a dentist, I will try to put all that to support groups.
Well, and I think that's where for listeners, one, to know that you're using your story to help others. And with that, obviously, I mean, people can tell right off the bat, you're humble, you're hungry to make a difference. And I think that's where you will find many people who just from an endearing standpoint will want to get behind you and just amplify your voice. And whether that's simply sharing this story and getting it out there in front of more and more people to let them know that, one, bad things happen to good people, but good people can rise above. They can push that narrative around the world. You become a light to be able to shine through. The other one is getting behind what you're doing. And yeah, I mean, I love the fact that, you're exactly right. Think big, start small, act now. And that's exactly what you're doing is you've got this idea, and right now you've got to put your medical career and your focus on your studies first. But this becomes an opportunity, you plant that seed that, sooner than later, you might have this coalition running to where you're the face of it and you're help steering and you're helping thousands and thousands of people that, just like you said before, would have never seen someone like you, but now you get to be that in your home country. You get to be that person that they look up to. But most importantly, you can guide them along the way where they might be scared at first. now they know there's hope. And so I think that's some simple ways that people, just by getting behind you, knowing that you're out there doing this day in and day out for all the right reasons, we can get behind you. Where would you direct us in terms of, obviously you and I, like I said, we met on Instagram, but tell them kind of your handle or website. Where would you direct us just to be in the loop on your story and help to start to share it? So talk about your handles, where we can find you on social media.
Currently, I have started my Facebook page with the name Ajay G Doni, like however you introduced me, that is my Facebook page. And my Instagram handle is Stress Breaker. And if you type Dr. Ajay G Doni also, you can get to my page, and where I will be uploading all the events I'll be attending. And that will definitely help not only differently abled individuals, but also normally abled individuals whenever they feel that, oh, why is God doing this to me? Then look at me. Then look at me first. And then you will realize that, okay, your problems are little more smaller compared to these guys. At least for that sort, you have to visit my page once, and then you see life is beautiful. And also, I will also tell you where I found you, sir. I'm kind of a space guy. Like, I'm interested in space, NASA, ISRO, all such things. So Young Space had a promotional page, actually. Young Space, there is that Instagram handle where they told, okay, Jeremy C. Park, so-and-so is doing such things. And then, with that, I would like to mention about this also. When we look at moon and sun, they give us two messages. It's okay to go through different phases. That's what moon tells us. And sun, whatever happens, you keep rising. That these are the two things which we have to take from the things which we are seeing daily, but we ignore that. So coming to my social handles, as I mentioned, Instagram and Facebook currently I'm having. Currently I'm not having a website. I will be very thankful if you help me out with.
Yeah, and I think that's all the stuff that we'll make sure, and we'll tag it in all the promos and make sure that we guide people. But maybe that's something that down the road we can help you get that website going as well. And I think this is all where when you put the story out there, then all of a sudden you can speak it into existence, because what you find is when you speak it out there, people will start coming to your side because they want to support for all the right reasons, everything that you're doing. So we'll make sure and we'll tag all that. And I'll also too, knowing that you're a space guy, I've had a chance to interview some NASA astronauts like Leland Melvin. So we'll have to find some ways to circle them back around to you, because those guys are amazing as well. So Jay, thank you, sir, for all you do. Thank you for being a change maker.
If at all in my life, if humans really explore the Mars, I don't mind practicing dentistry on Mars.
And that's possible. Anything is possible. So thank you so much, though, for all you do and being a light. And thank you for being on the podcast. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the ChangeMakers Podcast, produced by cityCURRENT and brought to you by Lipscomb and Pitts Insurance. To learn more about our guests and share your stories of others leading by example, visit us online at citycurrent.com or follow us on social media using @cityCURRENT. Please make sure to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast wherever you listen. Now, think big, start small, and act now. Be a change maker.